Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Well, I say good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. This is your Monday night news show with me and Dan. Dan, it's been a hot minute. How are you
Yeah,
doing? Welcome to the show.
yeah, I'm good. Just feeling the heat of this weather. Just the summer has started here already.
Oh, has it? How hot are we talking?
I think it's 30, 33 somewhere around, but it will go up till 45 during the May.
Wow, 33. I don't think England's ever been as hot as 33, to be honest with you, Dan. I don't think it's
So it's like every year 1 or 2 degrees is increased. So if we are having 44 maximum last year, then this year definitely it will go till 45,
yeah.
46.
Until that it's basically on fire. It's going to be like 20 years down the line. It's just India. The whole of India is going to be on fire. Fair play to you, mate, because over here it's pretty cold, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. Still freezing. We won't reach probably 20s till like July, literally. And then we have one
Mhm.
like 2 weeks, like a heat wave, probably coming over from India or somewhere, I imagine. And then it's just that's it then for the rest of the year. So yeah, very. I imagine you're very, very hot over there. And we've got some hot topics on the show today. So, Laurie Whitwell has written an article on Mason Greenwood, certain behaviours, the whole situation, the debacle going on around that. So, me and Dan are going to discuss that. Brandon Williams has basically been an idiot. He's been caught doing a balloon in a car on his way to training. Very random. We'll discuss that briefly. Strange things coming out today. And we've also got a little bit of transfer news to discuss as well. Plus, I did the membership video today. So it was basically a striker hunt. I discussed about 10, 11 strikers, categorized every single one of them, did a real in-depth insight to the players, and it's a fantastic video. It's about 40 minutes long. So if you want to become Real Red Ultra for the price of a pulled pint, you'll get an exclusive content, a badge next to your name, and a chance to appear on the show. And you can do that by clicking the join button next to the notification bell. If you're using an Apple phone, if you're using an iPhone, you have to do it for like an internet browser if the join button isn't coming up. So yeah, all it does basically is contribute to the channel so we can get more exciting guests on, so we can start to produce a bit more different kind of content. And yeah, so if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to. Make sure you smash the like on the video as well and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, we'll start with the Greenwood story, Dan. A lot of stuff coming out from this, so we're just going to kind of go through it with a fine tooth comb, quote by quote, and then to discuss it. So Laurie Whitwell's written an article on Greenwood in the Athletic. Basically dropped it this morning, I think it was. And one of the outstanding quotes I saw from it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer shielded Mason Greenwood in press conferences and dismissed reports he had twice been late for training, but Greenwood's attendance at Carrington in general was a concern. More than once, staff members had trouble establishing his exact whereabouts. Witnesses as well who watched Greenwood at the age of 18 or age of 16 said he knew he was a good player and was cutting. He wasn't shy about telling someone they were shit. Greenwood also claimed Ronaldo was dead finished when he was at Real Madrid. Mental, absolutely mental. Just that quote on Ronaldo, Dan, straight off the bat. That's fucking stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm a fan of Ronaldo, and I've seen all over the years what dedication level he has put on in his game, and the body level, the exercises, and everywhere he has developed himself to build that character. It means a lot, and you just go and just attack on a player who has proven himself time and time again, and it's just foolish of Greenwood just to aim at the goat, and saying him finished at the Madrid, it's like
That
you've
was
seen
his
that
prime.
after that. Yeah, he was at the prime of that in Real Madrid, and he was still scoring more than 40-50 goals a season. And
Yeah,
then you call him as finished, and then he has proved himself in Juventus and even United. He performed well, and now also in Saudi League also he is performing well. And even in internationals also recently he has scored more than 3-4 goals, and so he is still like to that level of a player. If you and not only Ronaldo but also other players. I'm not talking only about Ronaldo because
yeah,
I'm a fan of Ronaldo. I'm talking about Messi, Ibrahimovic, and other players also, including. So in order to become a great player, you have to acknowledge the great players, and so that's one of the key thing, and that's where you learn the discipline uh, of uh, of uh, of. I mean, I'm lost lost with the word. I mean, appreciating other players, and that's where you learn from the other players, and that's lacking. And I'm not sure what happened to this generation. I'm not just targeting this generation, but recently we have seen that the players' attitude have changed. If you
Yeah.
compare in the players in the early 2000 and 90s, you can see the attitude was different, totally different towards the game. Now it has those days the football was their life, but now it had seems like the football is just part of their life. So that's where the difference is. But yeah, and talking about Ole, I still think that there are two parts of this. One side is like you are hiding a player's disciplinary actions and
Mm.
whatever the
It's
that
shocking,
in
that, isn't it?
itself,
Shocking.
that in itself just shows how the standards was at that time. And we have always talked about the standards, and now you see this Greenwood thing coming up. You can say that yeah, the standards was like that just because of these players, uh,
Yeah, yeah,
these players attitudes. And now you see that, but on the other side you can see that at that moment, very moment, only Greenwood was playing well, and only didn't had any other player to trust upon to save
yeah.
his own job. So
That's,
there's always a two side of the story. But at the same time, you have now we have Ten Hag, and you have seen that how he deals with the players, even though regardless of the players, whether he is in form, and if he has done something wrong, he has to pay for that. But that was not the case when Oli was there. But yeah, to be honest, these type of attitudes will not work at this place if you are trying to build a standard in the club.
yeah. Well, it was quite a big article from Laurie Whitwell. I don't know if you read the full thing or not, but very detailed in a lot of situations. And another couple of things that have come out from it. So apparently during lockdown, police travelled to Carrington to ask the club to check on Mason Greenwood, who repeatedly broke the rules by breaking curfew and hosting house parties and stuff like that. And I thought it was interesting because not only are you jeopardising the players at the club, players with families. You talk about Bruno Fernandes, for example. I know Casemiro wasn't there at the time, but other players like that, going home to their families, just irresponsible, basically. And
Yeah,
the weird thing is, we young players at Manchester United, you ask anyone, any footballer, they'll always say, like, the young kids who come from United, I think Troy Deeney said it on a podcast. He said, young kids who come from United are always the most well behaved, the most professional,
mm,
and they train the hardest. But it shows a real level of arrogance with Greenwood, done it? Just from all these quotes that are coming out, the little things like Ronaldo's dead in the water, not turning up for training, having parties during the pandemic. Like, this isn't just a character assassination, but it kind of plays into that. Everything that's going on. You look at like his history basically, and you look at the stature of a person. He's not doing himself any favors, is there, with all this kind of stuff?
yeah, exactly. Because now you've seen that that now all these things have come up. I don't think he was already there in a discussion whether to play again for this club or not. And now with all these things coming up, I don't think Ten Hag will be happy with even if you forget everything what he has done in the past. And if you now with this news, I don't think Ten Hag will ever be willing to have this player in his team again.
No, no, I wouldn't either, to be honest with you, in my personal opinion. A rep for Mason Greenwood has come out and said there's no real substance to any of this. It's been a mix of old news, speculation, half truths, and completely untrue claims. Mason is 21. He's been cleared and should be allowed the opportunity to rebuild and move forward with his young life. That's a rep for him. I mean, like, he's coming back and saying all that stuff is old news, but I guarantee Laurie Whitwell has good sources on this, including players that are still there. We also know,
Yeah,
we all heard that voice note. I don't need to say any more on that. But look, it's for everyone to make their mind up. Everybody's got a different opinion on it. But one point I wanted to make, Dan, was this stuff with this Thomas Eliakas who wanted to take over, who wants to do the fan ownership. When we talk about all the fans making a certain decision, this is why I say it's not the best. It's not the best thing because I've
exactly.
seen a lot of people, including yourself. You run the Twitter, you know yourself. There's a lot of people like Greenwood in, Greenwood in, Greenwood in. And obviously it's down to opinion interpretation, but I just don't think the fans necessarily agreeing on one thing would always be the best thing. I think you need to leave that to professionals, right?
Yeah, so on my stand on Greenwood was like if I would have not heard those audios or the pictures that have come out,
Yeah.
and he would have been accused of doing these things, and then the case would have gone to the court, and then the decision would have made that he's not guilty. Then I could have made up my mind. Okay, he's not guilty because we have not heard of anything personally, and we have not seen anything. It's just the word of mouth. We are hearing that he has done something wrong. In case But now, since we have all the proofs that what he has done, even though the court has given him not guilty, but that mind, that some in my in a small corner of my mind, I still have that recorded voice and the
Yeah.
pictures of what he has done, that will make me to think that that was not right. And I'm not sure what has been done to cover that up from Greenwood side of view, whether he has done something from his own side to change the situation or not. But I'm not sure what repentance he can do for these things, because even there is no, it's always been a two-way sides of this to come back from what he has done before. So it's going to be very tricky one, just to, if you consider the standards and the mentality of the club, then I think it can build a mentality that if you do these things, you still can get away from that situation. That's the thing I don't want to have in my club. But at the same time, it's good for him and the club to just part ways at this moment. I know he's like a generational talent, and we all know the potential, the talent he has in him. But it's tough for me to accept him with all that I have heard and seen. So that's my
Yeah.
opinion on that one. But if other people want him to see again play, but I'm on my side, I want to part ways from this player.
Yeah, for me as well, Dan, I'm the exact same. I don't think having, marrying your girlfriend who was supposed victim, and I don't think having a kid with that, and I don't think the amount of PR spin you can get around it's going to change my thoughts on that situation at all. They have been speaking about his future. Apparently, Laurie Whitwell put this again. United have rejected offers from Turkish side for Mason Greenwood as the club's internal investigation continues. Some at United even feel Greenwood could play for the club again. Going down that path would cause a national moral conundrum and also trigger a sporting debate. Sponsors have privately expressed concerns about a return. Some members of the women's team will take major issue as well in Greenwood returning. But one source believes this experience has changed Greenwood. Apparently, he would run through a brick wall to be back playing for United now. Some at United even feel he could play for the club again. So conflicting reports, some damning reports. Again, we've kind of spoken about this, but where do you stand on it, like permanently? Should he never play again? Should he play somewhere else? Could you see him at United again? Would that work with the fans, the dressing room? Yeah, how do you see it playing out? Not your personal opinion, but yeah,
Yeah.
where do you see it going? Do you think?
I think this will end up like he leaving the club only can solve this issue, because you know that if he again comes back on the pitch and if he touches the ball, and the amount of boos you will hear from the stadium, and that
That's
in
it.
itself, it will create three teams, three supporters, one for the opponent, one for the against Greenwood,
Yeah,
and one in favor of Greenwood. So
yeah.
it's going to be a mess for if you consider United. So I think he has no future left in this. I think in one way I think that since he was proven not guilty, this could go in a more like an official or a legal way, where they cannot prove him as guilty. But at the same time, you cannot just remove him from the club. You have to just see the legality of the things. But in my opinion, I think Ten Hag would never want him to be in the club and playing again. And on the things how it is going, I don't see him play again for the club.
No, Ryan Edwards in the chat is saying Greenwood coming back might be bad PR. He'll probably go abroad, Spain, France, or Italy. Now, this week with Manchester United, Dan, we know they're a club that's about commercial profit and money, but they kind of counteract each other in this situation because if they might want to bring Greenwood back and rehabilitate whatever word you want to use and nurture back into the team and then sell him for money. If you
Mm.
could get, I don't know, 30, 40 million after he has a season or two. But in the same light, they could damage their view, their reputation as a globally renowned club. Bringing
Yes.
someone like this back into the fold, there's also not opportunities, but there's if you put him back in that dressing room with a good team at the minute who are all glued together, there's a
Yeah.
chance you might split that up. Is it
Yeah.
really
Exactly.
worth splitting that up for someone who's been away from football for 2 years? Is it 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Is he even near the level that he was when he first went away? Like these are important things to consider, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. If you see now, we are building something here in this team, and we are building from the fresh and from the start. And Tanag is, we have seen that we are seeing that Erik ten Hag is building a team from nothing, and now if you already a team is being built, and now you bring in Greenwood inside this, and this will disrupt the whole environment in the dressing room. Half people may be inside of Greenwood and half in the against him,
Yeah.
because now the thing is, those who will be in favor of Greenwood will be like super favorable to the Greenwood, and those will be against Greenwood will be like at the peak of against Greenwood. So that would in itself will bring a split in the team, and we don't want to have this happen at this point of view when we are going back to those days where we were in 2010, before 2010, when Rooney, Van Persie were there in the team, and this rebuilding will be affected if we keep Greenwood in our team. Is my thoughts, but I don't think many majority may not like him being in the team, but maybe those who are still on the bench and not getting the game time maybe in his side. That's just my opinion, but yeah, I think this will only disrupt the environment of the what we are having at the moment. And
Yeah.
to be even club can have a good name by this situation. If they terminate the contract, they will have a very good name amongst the fan. But at the same time, if they try to get some money out of Greenwood deal, again you see that then again it can go the other way as well. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
we have to sell him or terminate his contract as soon as possible, just to finish this off, because this is going for a long, long time, and we have to finish. I thought it could have been done even at the starting of the stage itself, when it all started, maybe in 4 or 5 months, it would have been dealt with.
No.
It didn't require to go till this level, and then you have to go again. And now the summer is also coming, so you have another issue to deal with when you are already rebuilding a team.
Yeah. Now, obviously, they're very different issues, and I'm not comparing them when I say this, but you look at United over the past 3, 4 years, the things we've had to deal with on and off the pitch that are just pulling the like dividing the fans. Ronaldo's situation is a perfect example. Again, a very different situation. I'm not saying the same, I'm not categorizing the same thing, but the fans were very split on it. The fans were very split on it. Like
Exactly.
some people like, no, he's the goal. We want to keep him. He's fantastic. Other people like, he doesn't suit the system. He's dragging the team down. He's selfish. He only plays for himself. He needs to go. That was split. The ownership situation at the minute, some people are like, we want Sir Jim Ratcliffe. We want to put the Manchester back in Manchester United, all that kind of Brexit talk. And then people are like, no, Qatar, we want super wealth. That's the only way we're going to compete for the future. People with Pogba, you had Pogba FC fans who are like constantly, keep him. He's the best player at the club. Then the people are like, get rid of him. He's a roller coaster. His agents, this, that, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it just feels like a recurring theme, especially for the past 3, 4 years. We're always kind of like in between. And it's annoying for
Yeah.
the fans because we're the ones who are dealing with it, who are discussing it.
Yeah, exactly. We have been, as we have mentioned it clearly, and a very good point that we have dealing these type of situation again and again, where we end up splitting the fan base into two parts. And
Yeah.
this is one more thing. And uh, I understand. Even I'm being a Ronaldo fan. To be honest, and I don't feel ashamed of that. I started watching football just because of Ronaldo.
I
But
think
now,
a lot of people did.
yeah, that's where the fan base is splitting in between. But I think, but that's not a wrong thing, because you when you are inspired by a player and you just start following football, that's totally fine, and that's a good point as well, because you are following a personality, and
Yeah.
that's totally fine. But at the same time, you have to see the environment also, how it is favorable, because even I can say that even I say that whatever Ronaldo did was wrong, even though I am
Yeah.
a big fan of Ronaldo. But I'm saying that whatever he has done is wrong. It could have been dealt in other different way. But the thing is, like, we have been like cursed with these type of situations. Like every season we have at least one situation like this, where the fan base is totally split. And like we have recently come up with like not a hard one but a soft split, like do you want to have Ragnick or Conte, or you want
Yeah.
to have Eric Ten Hag?
And
Then
naturally, Dan, there's always going to be debate amongst fan bases. I'll never dispute that. That's absolutely fine. It's healthy sometimes to have a debate in the fan base. But like you said, when it's fracturing it and when it's
yeah,
splitting people up and when people are like really arguing and passionately arguing about it, that's when the fan base, like, it's ironic, isn't it? Because we're Manchester United. But if anything, we couldn't be more further away from the second part of that name if we tried. Just two comments just to read out. Hulk Hogan saying, get rid, I say. Yeah, in agreement with us. Ryan Edwards saying, he played last season. It's only this season he has missed. Is he back in training? If you're referencing Greenwood, and I don't know, I don't have a clue. He won't be back in. He's not back in training with United squad anyway. I can tell you that for a fact. He might have been doing one-to-one training in his back garden. You can only speculate and think. But yeah, it's a weird one in it, Dan. I don't know how the club are going to handle the situation. And you think about, remember we was talking about Ragnick when he was in. He was like, fucking hell, the amount of stuff he's had to deal with since he's come in. And we're saying the exact same thing about Ten Hag now. If you would have said to Ten Hag before the season started, Ronaldo's going to do an interview with Piers Morgan. You're going to have these allegations bouncing back up about Greenwood. You know, you're going to have certain issues in the summer market and the winter market, and then you're going to have what do we call it? The Glazers selling the club on
Yeah.
top of that as well. Whilst everything's going on, he would have been like, I'm not sure if I want to take this job, mate. To be honest, it's a lot to take on, but. I don't know, man. I don't know well, I do know how I feel about this. I don't want him back at the club. That's just how I stand. He was an exceptional talent, but when you do the things that he's done, my hands are washed with him, and I think we can leave it at that. To be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I
Um,
don't want Greenwood to just like create a negative environment among the fans. So that's where I want to split away from him, because if we allow him to play again, then every time he plays, there's gonna be a split. But if he's gone, then I don't think that split may remain for some time, but people will forget about that. But if he's there in United shirt, then this debate is always going to be staying in fans' mind.
yeah, yeah. From one idiot to the next idiot, Brandon Williams has been caught doing a balloon in a car. It's one of the weirdest like tweets I've ever seen. I was scrolling through my phone casually before when I was on my break, and I was just seeing a picture of him doing a balloon in his Bentley or whatever it was. He weren't driving; he was in the passenger seat. But he has been videoed appearing to inhale nitrous oxide from a balloon near United's training ground as well. And a witness has said it was so obvious to anyone driving by what he was doing. Anyone who follows United or football seriously would have recognised him instantly. It's irresponsible considering he's a public figure. There's too many questions I've got for this, Dan, not for good and not for bad. First of all, if you're going to do it, I had to explain to Dan what it was, because Dan was like, I have no idea. Is it helium? Is he talking funny? And obviously he's aware now, but it's a weird thing to be doing just before training, isn't it? I get, like, if you're out on a Saturday night and you want to get a bit, woo, then that's fine. But before training, Dan.
Yeah, it's like you are going to play the game, and you need all the energy and all the strength and the focus, and then suddenly you do
Yeah,
something like this,
yeah,
and it's understandable when you win a trophy and you are enjoying that night, and you do this type of stuff. Then that's totally fine. But you are
yeah,
just before going inside the stadium, and you have to play now. You have to train with the other players, and you are doing this funny
yeah,
things and all. So that's totally just derail the thing, all the thing, that focus, everything is gone now when he enters that and enters that gate. And I'm not sure, but I'm sure that Tenag will deal with this in a very
yeah.
serious way, and he will pay the price. But already he's not having the game time, and I don't think he will play in this season again.
That's what I mean. You start to realise why certain players aren't pushing through to the first team. If you're having a balloon before training, no wonder you're not pushing the absolute limits. You should be having like nutritional, the right food, the right kind of, if you want an energy drink, a little energy before it, with caffeine, coffee, whatever. But a balloon only makes you dizzy. So you're on your way to train. I can't fathom it. I can't get my head around it. What like the effects? It's just very, very strange and peculiar. If he's like, if someone's videoed him at a party and he's doing it, you're kind of like, oh well, yeah, it's kind of, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not exactly a drug.
Just
Um,
need to check whether he's playing truth or dare or something with the
yeah,
driver.
like it could be. It's just a party. It happens sometimes. You accept it. You move on. But on the way to training ground, just before training, you think, you know what? Fancy a balloon, me. It just fucking strange. So strange. Yeah. As soon as Tenag sees this, he'll be joining Phil Jones, I think, on the C team, whatever it is, and he'll be kicked out of the squad, because that is horrendous doing that before a fucking training session. Not only that, I know he's a bit of a fringe player, but there'll be kids actually looking up to him who like him as a player.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So they're looking at that and thinking, "Oh, that's quite cool," and he'll do that, and other, you know what I mean? It's just idiot,
It's gonna
absolute
become a
idiot.
trend in TikTok, and also it's just a
Yeah,
bad example.
yeah. Become a meme. He'll become a meme. That's what he'll do. Again, joining the Phil Jones club in a different respect there. Right, let's talk about actual proper solid, decent news. Aside from people taking balloons, so apparently Fabrizio Romano's been talking. Well, not apparently, he has been talking, but apparently Manchester United are among many clubs monitoring Napoli centre back King Min-Jae. He has a release clause which is slightly less than 50 million euros, which is going to be valid for a few days in July this summer. How do you feel about the centre back situation, Dan? Because you've got obviously Maguire potentially leaving. You're going to need to replace him, but how strong do you go on that? Because they might have to accept in a certain, that they're going to be third choice. So we're dynamic in it. And people in the chat, let me know as well. Centre back options, who would you go for? And smash a like on the video.
Yeah, to be honest, I think we definitely need a center back, at least one center back like Martinez and Varane level. I'm not sure whether there is any of that level available in the market, but uh, this guy is also not a bad option with that 50 million price tag, because nowadays defenders, strong defenders will have very high, huge amount. I know that Varane we got very in a very cheap price, and with Martinez also with the standards he has put up now, the performance, I don't think we have paid a lot for him, because you have seen that the energy he brings in, the quality he brings in. But at the same time, 50 million for a defender who is doing very well, it's like a steal deal for us. But then you see who is going out. Maguire definitely is going out, but the point is whether we'll be getting at least 30 to 40. If we are getting 40 and we are getting a center back uh, for 50 million, that's a very like great deal for us, because we are spending on net 10 to 15 million for a center back, an upgrade on center back. You just imagine now we have Varane, Martinez, and now with this centre back also, will have a very good backup in place. And with Lindelof also, if you ask me, Maguire and Lindelof, I would definitely keep Lindelof. But this person, I think he has the ability to play in both the left as well as on the right side of the centre back pairing role. So either of Martinez or Varane is unavailable, then he can play on both the sides of that. So I think it's a very good deal for us.
Yeah, it's interesting one, isn't it, to see how they're going to kind of tailor that, because you've seen Varane now retire from international duty, he stepped away from France, so you would think he'd maybe naturally become more available. Him and Lissandro, for me anyway, and this isn't even red tinted glasses, I think they're the best partnership in the Premier League currently. Them two, Saliba and Gabriel, and maybe there's another two to have a discussion with, but they're definitely in the conversation. Um, so I think if you're going to go get one, you want one to compete, but one who's happy, not to play every single game. That's the kind
Mm,
of the hard
yeah,
niche to find. And I think Yuri and Timbo might fit into that, because Yuri and Timbo is 20 years old, or 21. He's very young anyway. Obviously, Ten Hag knows him as a player, and he can play multiple positions as well, similar to the
yeah,
Sandro. He can play at right back, and he can move into midfield at times. He did that a lot for Ajax. So you can get game time out of him from moving him in different positions, if that makes sense. You don't have to
yeah.
always play him at centre back. So that is someone I would look at. He's not going to be super expensive, but I'm not sure what the relationship's like with Ajax, because the whole debacle with Anthony and Lissandro, they're not going to like us, are they, Dan?
Yeah, they will not let us get inside Ajax facility anywhere near
Yeah.
that. And but yeah, you made a good point that to be a backup center back, we need a very young center back who will be willing to spend some time on the bench, because you already have a top level defenders already in place, Martinez and Varane, and you will be required to come on maybe in the second half, according to the game situation, if you want more defending, and maybe whenever any one of the player is injured. But at the same time, this guy from Napoli, I think he's 26 years old, and I don't think any good level of defender will accept a bench role at this moment
Yeah.
when he's on his prime. So I think, yeah, to be honest, yeah, the young defender will work well. He will have to see that opportunity of learning from Varane and Martinez, and
Yeah.
that would be a great addition to the team. But Julian Timber, I don't think Ajax will let us have him. So maybe we'll
Yeah.
have to look somewhere else. But
We've
at the
already. Go on,
yeah,
go on.
I don't think at this moment any other realistic option do we have at the center back role who are very young, and I mean they are having very high potential.
Mm, that's it. I think Pau Torres is out there, but again, it's a
Uh,
very fine margin. If he's playing regular for Villarreal and he's playing in the Champions League, are you going to be able to convince him to say, "Yeah, come over here and be third choice"? I don't think it's going to be as easy as that. So you have to find someone who's young but talented, because then the younger people will tolerate it a little bit more. I don't think experienced players will
yeah,
do that. But we'll park that discussion for a second, because speaking of young players, we put a poll out at the start of the show, which we're going to get onto right now. Obviously, we mentioned Min-Jae at United. The other player was Rasmus Holjund, which sounds like a B-Tech Haaland, doesn't it, in a sense? But this kid looks super excited. I just did, like I mentioned at the start of the video, I did a membership video today, exclusive content about the striker search, and done a really deep dive into every single one of them. Most of them that we've been linked with, from young players to experienced players to the next up and coming ones, basically.
yeah,
And Rasmus Hoyland is one who's been spoken about recently. Another hot prospect. 20
mm,
years old, played for Atlanta in the Italian league. He's recently scored 5 goals in 2 games for Denmark, which is kind of lit up everybody's attention during the international break. He's got 7 goals and 1 assist in 23 games. And overall, has 42 goals and 10 assists in 110 games, which is a good record.
yeah.
Again, do you feel like the narrative, the way the striker's going, Dan, um, like, because you're obviously going to have to bring one in who's like hits the ground running,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then do you think we need another one behind that? And then how do you finance that? Because you're not going to be able to get him in the same window, surely, are you?
Yeah, definitely. Because at this moment, if you see Weghorst, I don't think he'll be going past summer in being a United player. Uh, because yeah, he is doing what he is supposed to do for that price tag. But at the same time, we need a striker who will go straight into the team, like a Kane or maybe another experienced striker. But at the same time, we also need a backup striker as well, a very young, talented striker, and this guy can be Rasmus can be a good addition to the team. But at the same time, I think he's having a very good record in that in his current team, and his height is also good, and he's scoring goals on maybe not on regular basis, but at least in 3 to 4 matches he's scoring 1 or 2 goals. So that's a very decent stats for a young striker, and I think he should be available for somewhere around 35 to 40, if I'm
Yeah.
not wrong, at this
Mhm.
price. So at this price, having a young striker with that potential, it's a very good deal for us, because you will not know that in maybe couple of years he will have that price tag of what Haaland is having now. So
Yeah.
so definitely we need the striker, and the big positive point for me is that he is a striker and not a like a not like a winger
Yeah.
plus
Can
striker.
play on the left, can do this,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
do that.
I
Yeah.
and you know me from the starting that I'm not a fan of players who can play in different positions.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of players who can play on that same
You've got
position.
one role and just do
Yeah,
your one bloody role. That's it. I don't want you
yeah,
being a centre back and a fucking striker at the same time and a keeper. We don't need
yeah,
that. We need a
yeah.
solid number 9 week in, week out.
Yeah, that's where the very first thing when I was searching about Rasmus, I saw this thing whether what in what all positions he can play, and that the only one position was mentioned, that is striker, and I was like, you are in
Yeah.
my team. So that's the type of a player
Tick.
I need. Yeah, that's the type of player I need, because I don't want to try to play in him in different positions like what we are
Yeah.
doing with Vegas. At this moment, we
No.
are playing him in
Oh.
number 10, but yeah, so I don't want to touch
Yeah.
that now.
It's
But
painful.
yeah,
Painful to see Vegas as a 10.
yeah,
He must be related to you, Dan, because the quote that's come out from him said, "I followed Cristiano from United to Madrid. He's my idol, and he's a United fan as well." So it's obviously something that resonates with yourself. Just for anyone who doesn't have a clue who he is, who's only just hearing of him now, it was actually one of my friends, shout out Tommy, who kind of brought my attention to him, and he was like, "We check this wonder kid out. He's at Atlanta. He's a Danish international, really good player." So I had a look at his kind of what style he was and what his best assets was. And he's one who scores like a variety of type of goals. A master of making late runs. He's got really intelligent movement. A little bit like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like he just, he sniffs that kind of blood in the box and you just know when
yeah,
to kill him. He's really, really good at that. He's got high accuracy in his shooting. If you look at his metrics behind there, he's involved in the build-up play. But if you've got kind of one thing to go against him, is he's got kind of low passing accuracy and through balls and stuff like that. So his actual build-up play when he gets it isn't the best. But when it comes to like in the box, he's a killer. And you saw that for Denmark. So he's definitely one to watch. And for 35, 40 million, you think if you don't take that opportunity now, Dan, you
yeah.
might not, he might, then if he keeps doing what on that trajectory, you're looking at 60, 70, the way the market's going now.
Yeah, exactly. At this moment, I don't think any other big club is in the need of a striker, but they can come in if you consider like Real Madrid. They are with Benzema already like close to his retiring age, and they will be searching out for a striker. And I don't think they will get Mbappe, so they will be looking out for these type of young strikers just to learn from Benzema. But at the same time, you can see that Rasmus, as you also mentioned about his following with Ronaldo, I think yeah, those players who are following these top players like Ronaldo, Messi, they try to replicate them in their game, and that mentality they learn from these type of players is a positive sign for us. And he will, if he is a fan of Ronaldo, then definitely he'll be learning his like personal discipline of the
Yeah,
body, that type of areas he can learn, and he will. These type of players also follow, because if you are a fan, you try to replicate that person. That's a positive point for us. But at the same time, I'm in a worry that if we go for this player, we should not stop with this player, because we need a striker who start every game for us, and we need to keep him as a backup striker and not the first striker.
yeah,
And at the same time, we need a striker, as you also mentioned about the negative point. But at the same time, I think we need a player who knows to kill the ball. I mean, who just knows to finish the move. And
yeah.
we are lacking that type of player from a very long.
Clinical.
Yeah, exactly. The last time I think we had was Robin van Persie. After that, Ibrahimovic played.
Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, he played a little part in that, but we didn't had that type of player after Robin van Persie, or before that we had some players, but after Robin van Persie, we didn't had player who is here for the long term. So we need
Yeah,
that type of player who is here for just for that finishing role, because we all have that players in Bruno Fernandes now. Ericsson will be coming in, and Sancho is there. Ahmad will be coming back in this team next season. So we have a lot of creators, but we need a
yeah.
striker or a player who can finish that ball.
A killer. We just need a straight up killer. That's
Exactly.
what we need. Um, I think someone who would have been perfect for this team, a player who we've already had, but we had him about 7 years too late, and I think Edison Cavani. If you would have had a prime Edison
Yeah,
Cavani in this team, killer, absolute killer. What a player he was, by the way.
exactly.
Um, it actually leads me to my next question, and people in the chat get involved in this, whether you're watching it live now or if you're watching it later on. Give me 3 signings you would make this summer. Dan, do you want to start us off? Give us your positions
Uh,
first, and then give us the players in itself. Or I can
so
go first if you want a little bit of time to think.
you can go first. I'll just think
Okay.
of a couple.
Okay. Right, I'll go. You know what? I change on the striker every single week. It's different. You asked me last week, it's Harry Kane. You asked me the week before, it's Victor Osimhen. You asked me this week. I wouldn't have him as a starter, but one player I really want is Sesko. Now, the reason
Mhm.
why I want Sesko, he's 19 years old. He's got the same kind of stature as Haaland. He's as quick as Haaland. And for his age, he's got something like he's got double figures in goals and a
Mhm.
good few assists as well. In for Salzburg in the league. He looked really good against Liverpool. He's got that raw talent. I think Ten Hag could coach him perfectly. He's good at all dynamics as well. He's not just good at running in behind. He can actually
Yeah.
play to feet and drop into midfield and half spaces and really play. So that is one I'm a massive fan of. But I think he's going Leipzig in the summer for 30 million. So I'm not sure how you would construct that deal. That's a player I'm a massive fan of. The next one, who am I going to say in midfield, Dan?
De
You
Jong.
know what I'm going to say. Frankie De Jong, of course.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm keeping that deal up until I get absolutely told no, and it's never going to happen. And De Jong literally says it to the camera to my face. Otherwise, the deal's still on, and I want Frankie De Jong. And then the next one's a weird one. I'd say Timber. I'll go with Timber. I mentioned him before. I think it'd be perfect for the dynamic, how he'd work with Ten Hag before. Again, could be potentially another difficult deal because it's Ajax, and yeah, you know the situation there. So De Jong, Timber, Sesko. They're the three I like.
Yeah, for me, I would definitely need a striker. You said De Jong, Timber, and
Sesko.
Sesko. Okay. Yeah, Sesko maybe down the line I may have that as an
Yeah.
option, but I need a striker who just goes straight into the team. I would maybe
Yeah.
go with Vlahovic. I've seen him playing
Ooh.
in Serie A. He's looked like
No
a proper.
Ramos.
Huh?
No Ramos.
I
no
would have
Ramos.
taken.
No.
I would have taken him if he would have if that video
Yeah.
might have would have not come in.
Pre-video. Pre-video. You would have taken it.
You just imagine at least this Williams is doing something with the balloon.
If you know, you know. People are probably listening to this thinking, what the fuck are they going on about? If you know, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, so no Ramos, but we're going for Vlahovic. That surprised me actually, Dan, to be
yeah,
fair.
yeah. I've seen him playing for Juventus and even in his previous club. So he looks like a proper striker to me. So that's where
Okay.
I'm a fan of a proper striker. So that's where I'm choosing Lauvic.
Hmm.
Uh, he was an option, I think, in bits here and there, but not a proper uh,
Yeah,
concrete. We have not heard about any news which is like directly linking him to the club. But maybe Oshiman can really do a great job in United. So
expensive though, isn't it?
yeah, but
Osimhen,
yeah,
that's
very
the thing.
expensive, like more than 120 million around.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm going with Vlahovic. Other than that, I don't think Kane. I know that he has all that in him to play, maybe, but the thing is about how many years he will give us 120 million for 2 years. So I
that's it.
think that
And then you're gonna
yeah,
have to spend another 100 million on top of
yeah,
that.
again you have
Like,
to go in the market and search
just
for a great
basically go,
striker.
ah, there you go, mate. There you go.
Yeah. So people sometimes get me wrong, but the thing is, at this moment, if you ask me if you want to play today, I would go with Kane. But the thing is, I'm looking for the future
Thinking
as well,
about, yeah,
for
yeah,
4 to 5 years down the line. So that's why I'm going with Oshiman. But then he's not a realistic option if you consider the amount we have to pay for him. That's why
yeah,
I'm going with Vlahovic. Uh, because we have to spend for two strikers at least, one young and one experienced striker.
yeah.
And in
So
midfield, yeah, and in midfield, I know that we already have attacking midfielders. I mean, who plays on the eight. We already have Donny van de Beek also to come back in the team, and Ericsson is there. I would also, I'm just taking Sabitzer out of the list. I mean,
yeah,
believing that he will be a United player next year. If you ask me, I will go for Sabitzer because I've seen what he
okay.
can do. But to be realistic, out of United now, I think Neves can be a very good option for us.
Neves,
Ruben Neves, yeah, because
interesting.
the thing is, Casemiro is there, but we need another player who can play in that DM role. So I think
Yeah,
Neves can still play at that DM
but he
role.
could do both, couldn't he? Could play as an eight
Exactly,
and could
yeah.
play as a
Like,
six. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So Neves can do a job, but
How
I would have
much?
taken Neves. I think I can pay maximum 40 to 45 million, but I think they will not
Yeah,
let him
well,
go for this.
didn't they
Yeah.
say last season like 100 million or something?
Yeah,
Something
more than
like
90 million they said they
that. Oh,
quoted. So,
fucking hell.
so
Wishing on a
yeah,
star.
that's we'd be very lucky if we get him for somewhere around 50. But I think he is having that attitude to play for an United
Yeah.
team,
Got that
especially
bite
for
on it.
10. Yeah, he's that type of player who can play under 10 ag, and that dedication level, that work rate is there. But the thing is, again, comes back to the down to the price tag.
Hmm.
Uh, and the third player, I would go for the center back. Only when we sell Maguire or Lindelof, I would go with, as we have already discussed about Timber, maybe a
Yeah.
young center back.
Yeah. I like that. So Timber, um, s-
Neves
Neves,
and Oshiman
and
or
Vlahovic.
Vlahovic. Yeah,
Of like,
Vlahovic.
yeah. But in terms of like you're looking at EFFP and your financials in the summer,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think Vlahovic, Neves, and Timber would make more sense to be honest. The
Yeah.
only one thing I'll come back at that on is I'm not sure if Neves. I think he'd suit Ten Hag style of football. Like I said, he's got that bite. I don't know if it's a Ten Hag signing if you know what I mean. I don't know if Ten Hag's
Yeah.
looking at him because even I haven't seen any links. The links I've seen, obviously, the main ones have been De Jong, but the other ones that
Yeah.
I've seen, I haven't seen much about Neves. Maybe that could change. Maybe it could become an
I think
opportunity in the summer.
today only we were linked with Neves.
Last
Yeah.
season, wasn't it?
No, today I think today the news came up that
Oh, was there?
yeah, yeah. So today I think it was Manchester United men's from where the news came up.
Yeah. Interesting then. Yeah. Why not?
because
Why not?
because I think last season Barcelona were a bit favorite, but now they cannot buy a
Yeah.
player. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
They've
why
got to
now
sell.
we are.
Yeah. They've got to worry about. Maybe they can sell us De Jong and then they can have
Yeah,
Neves. Do it like that. Sam's in the chat saying Sangare, Kane, Sesko, Lamptey be on my list. Centre back. I'm struggling. Interesting. Everyone's gone different here a little bit.
okay.
So Sam's got with two strikers and a central midfielder there. So I wonder what happens if Maguire goes. Wonder how much money we get as well. Because if you sell Maguire, you sell McTominay, could you potentially get 60 million? Maybe. I'm
Exactly.
not
Maguire,
sure.
I think maximum 35 to 40, and for McTominay, if we get 30, we would be like
Yeah. Because
we
you'd
will have.
probably if you sell McTominay, you could probably go get Sabitzer for 20 million, 25, and then just save 5 million and go add that onto someone else in
The
an
thing
ideal
with
world.
Yeah, but the thing with Sabitzer is now since the Bayern Munich coach has changed, the manager has changed, so
Yeah,
situation might go the other way.
too cool in it.
Uh, yeah, Nagelsmann, he has already tried Sabitzer and it was not working, and that's where we could have benefited from that situation. But now since Tuchel has taken that role, I think he likes this player. He likes the player like you see Kovacic, that type of player he likes. So Sabitzer is also that type of
Yeah.
player. So I don't think he will let him go.
I think with Sabitzer, it's interesting because I think we've only had a tiny, small sample of seeing like what he could
Yeah,
do at United. I want to see a run of games, 5, 6, 7 games where he's next to Casemiro when he's got Bruno in the midfield, and then judge
yeah,
it rather
yeah,
than because it's tough at the minute. But from bits I've seen, especially recently for Dinge scoring that free kick, like absolute banger for against Azerbaijan for Austria. So look, if he's got that in his locker and he can start whipping some of them in, then absolutely sign him up for 20 million euros or whatever it is. We put a poll out at the start, like I said before. I'm just going to read out the final kind of metrics. We said, would you take Rasmus, Holjund, and Kim Min-Jae at United? 67%, sorry, have said yes to both. 8% have said no to neither. 17% have said Kim only, and 8% have said Rasmus only. So quite split there. A majority for both of them, but there's a bit of a split there as well. And I think that's another thing that fans are a little bit divided on, isn't it, Dan? Like who they want to bring in the summer. And a lot of it's going to depend as well on people. Obviously, the new ownership that goes on. If Qatar comes in, you
yeah.
would think super wealth, maybe a bit more expenditure in the summer. If others come in, then maybe it's a little bit tighter. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to go on. It's exciting, isn't it?
So the thing is, we may have four options to buy for a single position. We may have four options.
Yeah.
If you are getting Radcliffe, you will get any one player. If you get Qatari, you will get all the four players.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, if you've got a first, second, and third option, if the Qatar come in, you probably get all of them in every position. We'll
Yeah,
just have a new squad, basically. How they're going to do it and work the way around FFP, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they've done it with Paris Saint-Germain, so they'll find loopholes. They always do. We've got 9 people in the chat. Make sure you smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel. I mentioned at the start of the show, I did a video, a very in-depth analysis on all the strikers that we've been linked with, categorized them in free agents, young talents, up and coming. There was an impossible category which Mbappe was in. I did a deep dive on that as well. And then there was experience, Premier League proven in Harry Kane. So if you want to see that membership. If you want to see the content within the membership, you have to click that join button. You don't have to click that join button. You can click that join button. Sorry. It's next to the notification bell, and you get exclusive content every single week. You get a badge next to your name, and you get a chance to feature on the show. So please do consider it. It supports the channel. It helps us get big guests on, like we already have with Jonathan Schrager, Jay Motte, and we're working on something big at the moment as well. So yeah, any contributions, absolutely, more than appreciated. I think that concludes the show for today, Dan. Appreciate you coming
yeah.
on. Do you have any
And,
final thoughts?
yeah, I have two questions for you. There is a player called Ivan Ferguson to whom we are
Yeah.
linked with. Would you have him? Have you seen him playing?
Yeah, I've seen bits of him. Seen bits of him for Brighton. He looks good. The thing is with Brighton, we know their price tags when
Yeah,
they're selling players is always Cucurella, Ben White. Now, granted, they're a little bit more established than Evan Ferguson is, but you know they're going to want big money for him.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's got 3 goals, 2 assists in 10 games for Brighton so far. Penalty
yeah,
box poacher, nice dancing feet, 6'2" frame. Like it seems like he's got all the kind of abilities within him to be a good Premier League centre forward, but it just depends how much Brighton are going to want, and it always comes back to the things again, done it with the
yeah,
financials and stuff.
yeah.
Did you have a next question? You said 2 questions, didn't you?
Yeah, I think there was a rumor today that its team, I think one of the Premier League team was looking to buy Dean Henderson. I think it was Chelsea who looking
Okay.
for Dean Henderson. So how much
Yeah.
do you think we can get for Dean Henderson?
I believe he's still got a couple of years left on his contract, which is obviously good on our side. It's not like goes free this summer or anything, does it? So the contract's still there 1 or 2 years. I don't know. It's a weird one because he was having a decent season with
He's
Nottingham
back from injury.
Forest.
Is he still
That's what,
outlined?
no, I think he's still injured. That's what I mean. Like he
Oh,
was having a good season with Nottingham Forest, and then
mm-hmm.
Keylor Navas came in,
Keylor
didn't he?
Navas,
Who I'm a
yeah,
massive fan of. And then he's kind of been out of the squad. So then does that affect his price going into the summer? Does that drop his price down quite a lot?
Yeah.
Maybe at a push 20 million you could get for
Yeah.
him. But I don't know. I'm not sure. The market's very weird and it's hard to predict. Shah Sam, who is a real Red Ultra, is saying great show, guys. Thank you very much, Shah Sam, for the support. We appreciate that. But yeah, Dean Henderson, I think 20 million, Dan.
Yeah, even I would rate if we get that amount, that would be a like good deal for us. And
Yeah.
I don't see any future for him in United shirt. Maybe actually he can have his career again rebuilt in United shirt, because already De Gea, we are already looking out for a alternative. So maybe
Yeah.
could be a good option, but then again he's now injured and he's not having time to prove himself.
I love this quote, and we'll leave on this quote because he said it when he went to Nottingham Forest. He said, "Oh, I didn't train. I don't know if you saw it. He said I didn't train because in case the manager saw me, he would want to play me, and I would maybe be first choice." And I saw the guy, I just thought, "Shut up, you idiot! Come on." I thought that's the most ridiculous comment I've ever heard. And then the other one about being like a caged animal, and he won't like just get him out of the club, sell him 20 million. I don't want him back at the club, to be honest. Yeah, we'll end on that, Dan. Again, thank you for coming on. Thank you
Yeah.
to everyone liking the video, subscribing. And sorry, was you going to say something then?
No.
Okay,
Good.
okay. Sorry, I thought you were thinking. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Plenty of content coming up this week. United are back on the weekend. We play Newcastle on Sunday. We'll have a preview on Saturday. We're working on some big guests for this week, so keep an eye out for that as well. Turn on the notification bell, and we'll see you tomorrow for a few more shows. Take care of yourself. Peace.
Yeah. Cheers.